Hello, welcome to the Masterclass. I'm Lauren, a photographer, creator of LSP Actions, and welcome to our special Masterclass today where I'm going to show you how to fast track your family gallery editing using Evoto AI. Today we're going to dive in. I'm going to show you the exact editing steps to take inside Evoto so you can swiftly and consistently complete 90% of your editing in one quick sweep without spending any hours pushing sliders. You're also going to get my free e-guide download, the Evoto Blueprint to editing family and newborn images super fast, super streamlined. Smooth editing is where it's at right now, if nothing else for our own sanity. Big thanks to the Evoto team for hosting this, especially the lovely Paris. And of course, huge thanks to you for being here. I hope you can take a lot away from this today. Why use Evoto? Well, it's fast, it's streamlined, and editing streamlined and fast is more important than ever. Evoto gets it right, but you still retain control over all the settings and refining the sliders. Evoto is also free to download and use. You only ever pay for the images you want to export, so you can edit a whole, thousands of images in there. The only time you pay is when you want to export any of those images in high quality out of Evoto for you to then be able to use or give to your clients. And you do this by purchasing a credit bundle. They have all sorts on offer. Every exported image costs you just a few pennies out of your bundle, and you only pay for what you actually export. You could edit 1,000 images, not pay a penny. You'd only pay for the images you export. And for that, I think it's a fantastic pricing system. It's intuitive. You can sync and batch edit. So you edit one, you sync the effects, including skin, background, everything to your whole gallery, and boom, you're done. It's got subject relevant editing. You can edit men, women and children, older generations separately, even on group shots. And they're all in the same photo, you can edit them separately. It's brilliant. It's a risk-free credit system, like we just said, and you can save and use presets, whether they're your own presets that you can save and apply to other galleries, or you purchase presets. So to be honest, we're going to dive in a minute. We don't even need an hour because you can edit in minutes with the right tools and workflow in Evoto. So I'm going to pack in as many edits and techniques as I can in our short time together today. And as I mentioned, I'm also going to give you my free PDF ebook, the Evoto Quick Start Blueprint. That's going to show you right away how to dive in and edit with Evoto anytime you need to check back and have a look. What I do want to mention before we dive into sliders and settings is this, and you may have already noticed it, especially if you've been going for more than a few years like me and some of us have. The landscape of the photography industry has changed for both us photographers and for our clients. It doesn't really matter where you shoot, whether you're on location, whether you have a private studio set up at home that clients can visit, or maybe you've got commercial property. But one thing that hasn't changed and never will is your professionalism, your ability to adapt to your clients' needs and modern methods at the time, while also keeping the very nature of timeless photography and why we do this at your heart. So the one thing that has changed in recent years, and it matters possibly more than we realise, now it's the speed of initial contact with your client, how quickly you get back to their inquiry, and then the speed of your gallery turnaround, whether you showcase the gallery to your client online, in person, after the session or fully edited. The speed matters here. Of course, it varies depending on your business model, but in general, we can't keep our clients waiting too long anymore for their portrait and studio style shoots. We want to make sales from our heart. Purchasing psychology is and always has been based on excitement and love for the results of photography. The new changes in what works for our modern clients is really easy for us to evolve and update to, thankfully. So with Evoto installed, you can technically load all the images to your computer from your camera, and you can click a few sliders and soft proof the gallery while your client waits and drinks coffee after the session. Hopefully, looking at your wall art, leafing through your brochure, admiring your prints and having a chat. Of course, I wouldn't recommend having the laptop turned around to your clients, but you can be there making these adjustments and letting them run. And this allows the client to choose their gallery before you've had to spend a penny exporting, before you've had to spend hours and hours editing that evening to show them the fully edited gallery. And after you have that order, you know exactly which images to go home and edit, to finish, to polish off, to add your own signature style to finish off properly. So it saves you time, it keeps your client, striking while the iron is hot, and it means you have this kind of newer evolved business model. Or if it doesn't make you comfortable showing your client anything that isn't 100% edited, and I do hear you totally there, so you'd rather take the gallery after the session and edit in the comfort of your own space, or the chaos, I'm not judging here. Either way, it's been proven, especially since 2023, ramping up rapidly in 2025, that the sooner you can present this gallery to your client, whether it's soft-proofed or fully edited, the more profitable your session will be in general, and the better your client's going to feel about the whole experience. You don't have to be there and then at the session, I understand that, but get your turnaround time down and you're going to see results with this new gen of clientele that we've got going on. So let's dive into what we're going to cover today. We're going to cover getting started with Evoto, loading it up, editing a full family image start to finish. And then we're going to move on to batching and syncing this across the entire gallery in just a couple of clicks. I'm going to show you every section of Evoto and how you use it. And then we're going to dive into a faster edit with a different gallery, and I'm going to show you how to get an entire gallery done, including men, women, children, different subjects, wrinkly backgrounds, distractions, skin, flyaway hair, all sorts, in about 5 minutes. I'm also going to give you hacks, tips and tricks you can try straight away in Evoto, whether you're new or whether you've been using it a while. I'm going to show you how to use presets to make this process even silky smoother and totally seamless. And you're going to get my free blueprint, the Evoto Quick Start download. Before we dive into Evoto and the editing tutorial, I just want to say hello and introduce myself properly to those of you who don't know me. Hello, I'm Lauren Bennett. I'm the founder of LSP Actions editing tools for photographers and a professional portrait photographer with over 15 years experience. Alongside running my high street studio here in England, I have the privilege of helping thousands of photographers worldwide elevate their editing through intuitive tools, workflows, and downloadable editing packs. I specialise in creating editing systems that save you time without sacrificing a shred of quality, so you can transform those images with beautiful finesse, designed to support your signature style, not to replace it. I'm also a mother of 4 spirited young children. I love my pets. I love playing bass guitar, but I practically exist on coffee and chocolate and pretty much 0 sleep. So it's wonderful to meet you. Without further ado, let's dive into Evoto and start our masterclass. So after installing or opening Evoto, you'll land on your library screen. This is quite new. It's a newer update for Evoto. You can import a whole folder or single images. If you've got a few images you want to select and drag in, that's fine. You can import an entire folder once you've imported the images from your camera onto your computer, or perhaps you use another program like Lightroom to catalogue and organise. Or you can import an entire Lightroom catalogue worth of images, which is going to pull from the same place. Once you've imported the images in, you can give each one a star rating. You can right click and set a colour label if you wanted to. You could also flag. You can cull, you can remove any images from the gallery at this stage that you don't want in there. To edit your image at this stage in the library view, you can switch over here down the bottom. It's on tiles at the moment. You can switch to full screen if you wanted to look a little bit more of the images. I've only loaded a few up. And on your right hand side, any presets that you've installed will appear here. For example, these are my LSP Actions presets. And you can see the preset has applied the edit for you if we go before and after there. But I'm just going to reset this edit down because I'm going to show you how you do all of this by hand. So to go into full edit mode, up here next to library, you click edit and you'll see the screen has changed around the image. You have your gallery thumbnails along the bottom. Your presets will now appear on the left hand side. Evoto also comes with its own presets too. That's this little triangle icon. Underneath this, you have any masks that you've added. I'll talk about masks in a little while that you can edit. Masks are a little bit like layers. And you also have your history where you can go back and undo. You can go back through the process. Now I can see right off, obviously I need to get my lighting balance and my toning right for this family. I also need to work on the glasses glare, a little focus, and then my signature look would be finishing this out with a lovely fine art kind of a glowing, magazine-worthy finish. And that's what we're going to create today in Evoto. So let's start from the very beginning. On your right, you have your color adjustments panel. That's this little icon here. It looks like an artist paintbrush. Underneath here, you have your portrait retouching panel. And you can see here you have separate portrait retouching for male, female, child, senior, all, and individuals. Evoto figures them out for you. It's amazing. I'll show you in a moment. Underneath this, you have your backdrop adjustments. You can adjust a solid backdrop. You can clean it up, remove any distractions, unify the lighting. You can also replace and change the backdrop here. And if you shoot outdoors, you can use sky replacement. Underneath this, you have your clothes adjustments. De-blemish clothing, de-wrinkle, de-blemish as if you've got little bits of lint and fluff. You have your crop screen. You have connector camera for tethered shooting. And you have auto import and export. So let's start at the beginning. This is the screen you will first see when you go into the edit section of Evoto. You have AI color adjustments here. You can load a reference image in if you want to. We're not doing that today. If you've got a shot similar and you really want to bring those colours and tones in, you can load in like a reference image for Evoto to pull from, and it's going to try to change the images and tones as cleverly as it can in your image. There are other masterclasses for that one, so today we're going to go into the base editing. You can see your histogram at the top. It's showing the images quite dark, with the reds, of course, taking precedence in this image. And one of the important things, it's only a little one, but it's quite important in Evoto, is real-time colour adjustments. If this is checked on, any adjustments you now make to these sliders here, for example, if I want to slide the exposure up, you can see it's sliding in real time. If I turn this off, it means you slide first and then it's going to adjust. The reason for that is once you've added some skin retouching, background, any of the other panels, if you have real-time colour on, it's going to hide temporarily any adjustments you've made in these panels and only show you quickly your basic adjustments. It can be really handy to know when to turn this one on or off. I'd suggest playing with it. And don't worry, I'm going to chat about that a little more throughout our tutorial today. So the first thing you have at the top is your white balance. If you're familiar with programs such as Lightroom, this is all going to look really familiar at this stage. And you might be thinking, well, why do I need Evoto? You need Evoto because of everything else here. And I'm going to show you that in a moment. So let me just give this image a little base edit. I'm just going to bring the exposure up. You can, of course, sample the white balance if you didn't get it right in the camera. You can find a section of your image to pull from that's white or neutral grey. And I'm just going to tweak this a smidgy more just to get that white balance looking good. My screen is calibrated and I am using my eye because sometimes, especially for studio, you might want your white balance a little warmer or a little cooler. So trust your eye as well as the sliders. So for this particular image, I'm just bringing the exposure up. I'm going to take the contrast out a smidgy. And apart from that, I think we're looking quite good at the moment. All I've done is adjust a little bit of white balance, contrast, and exposure. But of course, you can play with all of these sliders if you need to. This is more of a dive deep into the skin retouching, which I know everybody is here for right now. So we're going to go quite quickly through this part. You have your presence, you have your clarity, you can dehaze an image. Remember, Evoto is made for wedding, studio, outdoor, natural light, headshots, business. It's made for everything, so you might not need to necessarily use every single slider. In fact, less is more sometimes when it comes to your develop editing. Underneath this, of course, you have curves. You have your whole image hue saturation. These changes will affect your entire image. For example, if I turn all the reds into purples, you can see where Evoto is picking up reds in this entire image. You can also hit the little reset icon in any of these. See, this image has obviously got a lot of oranges in it. I'm just going to fit this back on the screen. You can just scroll your mouse at any point to zoom. And if you want to see your before and after, you click this little box down here with a line through it, hold it down for before and let go for after. So you can see we've already made a huge difference in our editing. At times I like to just click this switch between before and after, so I know if I need to make any additional changes. I'm just going to bring the green slightly out of the white balance now. And let's fit this back on our screen. So once you've gone through your develop panel the same way you would in Lightroom or any other program, you also have your color grading, your detail. Sharpen by default is set at 40. You can change this if you wanted to. Obviously you don't want the image to be overly sharp, but equally Evoto knows that raw files do tend to be on the softer, gentler side, so it does pop a little bit of sharpening in for you. You can take that down to 0. Your lens correction is great. Automatic lens correction is perfect. Let me fit this down and you can see now it's changed that distortion in the image. So I do like to pop it on. It's going to automatically detect your lens. If it doesn't, you can go on manual. Color calibration again with Lightroom. These are your primary overall colors. We don't need to change that at this stage. So let's dive in to Evoto's full capabilities and look at the skin and background editing. So I'm going to click on Portrait Retouching. Right now I'm on female. We also have male and child and senior. We have female, male and child in this image. So I'm going to show you, if I click on female, and you can open all of these up. Let's start at the top with blemish removal. And let's zoom in on her there. If I was to slide out freckles and acne, let's say 100%, Evoto is auto-detecting only the women, so you'll see, for the men in the picture and the boys, nothing is happening, only to the women. So if I show you before and after, you'll see now it's only affected her skin. We do not need this at 100%. I'm going to take freckles down because she's got beautiful natural freckles. We don't want to change those. She also has no acne, but I'm going to slide that up a little bit just for small blemishes. You have reduced face shine. This is going to take any shiny areas off the face. You might want to keep a little bit. These sliders are going to be completely unique to you and your image, so I recommend just coming in and playing. You can see there a little darkness under the eyes is now being removed. Dark circles nothing, dark circles full. To really see what one does, I recommend sliding it up to 100%, bringing it down to nothing, and then bringing it in to your perfect area. Remove glasses glare. This is one of the #1 reasons you need Evoto. Even if you're not convinced and you think, oh, all this stuff I could do in another program, we haven't even scratched the surface yet, and we will do throughout this masterclass. Flagship slider, I would say. There are a few I'm going to show you, but watch this. Even if you do your entire editing in Lightroom, Photoshop, other programs, and you just load the images in for glasses glare, how many hours is this going to save you? Watch. You ready? I'm going to slide it up. Bing! Look at that. Can you believe that? And it's retained all the detail in the eyes. Just like that. There's no cloning, no patching, no having to select, nothing like that. It has removed the glasses glare. Any little lip wrinkles, any flaky lips, if you want to add a little lip balm to your client, you can slide this one up. Double chin is great. Most people don't have a double chin, you know, that kind of pull-in shadow that you get under the chin, which is natural for every human on the planet. But in a photo situation, when people are having to stand awkwardly, they're not necessarily comfortable, they're thinking about 100 things at once, they tend to maybe pull that chin in. So you slide double chin up and you're going to get a beautiful shading under the jawline to put it back how it's going to look. For men, you also have beard protection. We don't need that for our lovely lady. Face wrinkles. This is up to you. You can just slide a little bit. For example, everyone has some forehead wrinkles. It's how our skin naturally bends. Or you can slide it up a lot and it's going to remove them completely. So it's up to you. Do you want to just take them, you know, soften them up or remove? It really depends on how full on you want to go with the edit. 11 lines. These are the lines in between the eyebrows. Eye wrinkles, we all have them, especially when we smile. But in a photo shoot, they are way more pronounced than they would be in real life because we shoot for sharpness. So we can just bring this up a little bit to bring it back to how our client would see themselves in the mirror. The same with your smile lines. Left and right options there. You can just play with these. We don't want to make our client look plastic. We want to bring them back to how they see themselves, their best selves, how others see them for family photo shoots. They don't want to look unrecognisable. But of course, you can go in heavier with any of these sliders to get that real magazine finish. Now we're on to the body. That was all working on the face. So we have body blemishes, any little necklines and wrinkles. Again, it depends how your client is standing. Armpit touch-up. If you have any lines around the armpit, if the client's armpits are on show, you can use that one. Stomach stretch marks. If you shoot maternity, you're going to want to soften those stretch marks down. And I'm not saying a client should not be proud of her stretch marks, but if you just soften them down, they're not going to be the main feature. They're not going to be taking all the attention. Same for pregnancy line. I love the pregnancy line, so I pop a bit in if you're shooting maternity. Tattoos, if you want to remove tattoos, you can click this one. That's just the blemish removal. We still have all of these to look for. So let's go to men. You can see also, we've retouched both women in this picture now, if I go before and after. Let's go to the guys. So I'm going to click male. Now, male editing is completely different to female editing. Completely different. So freckles and acne, I'm going to slide this up a little bit to remove any little spots and scratches. I'm going to take his freckles down. And already you can see he's very, very smooth. So see that before and after. So I'm going to bring this down a little bit. We don't want our guys to look overly smoothed. We don't want them to look like they're wearing a layer of foundation. Not in my opinion anyway. Removing a face shine. Men tend to have a little bit more shine. Dark circles, yes, especially if you're doing newborn or family photographs. You're going to want to help dad with that one. Again, just like mum, we want to bring him back to how he normally looks, not shooting for sharpness in the studio. Remove glasses glare again. You pop this up for dad. If he's wearing glasses, lip wrinkles and flakes. Double chin. If I slide this one up here, it's just working. You see we get this shadow under the chin. If you pop beard protection on, that's going to tell Evoto this guy has a beard. We don't want to smooth it down. Full head wrinkles up to 100. You'll see they've gone completely. I'm going to just bring that back. We do not want to erase the pattern of his life on his face. We just want to soften up a little bit. And again, 11 lines if he has them, eye wrinkles. Just go on in and play with these sliders. Zooming in like this, rather than editing a full shot, just scroll your mouse or your Wacom and just come in so you can see what the sliders are actually doing. The same for body blemishes. If he's got his arms out, if he's a bit blotchy, if he's got spots and scrapes or anything like that, you can bring the slider up. Neck wrinkles, armpit. If he's got any tattoos, if it, for example, you're doing business headshots and you need to cover those tattoos, you can click this one. And same for the children. If you're shooting newborn, we will do some newborn today. Your freckles and acne is going to want to go up. That's going to clear 90% of newborn skin. We all know what newborn skin can be like. But on younger children, you can see here he has freckles. If I bring this up, his freckles are going to vanish because Evoto, it does struggle to tell the difference between freckles and acne. It's a computer at the end of the day. It's a machine. It's AI. So I totally understand that. No hate for Evoto whatsoever. But I'm going to bring the freckles slider down. And you can see it's brought some of the freckles back. So at this stage, I'm just going to hang back on freckles and acne a little bit to find that sweet spot. And there we go. Beautiful. Face shine, dark circles, eye bags, any glasses. If they're wearing glasses again and you have the glare, you can use glasses glare on children. Double chin, you might not need to. It's entirely up to you. If you want to create a natural shading line under the chin, a little bit of contour, you can. It really depends how much retouching you need to do at this stage. Children generally don't need 11-lined eye wrinkles or smile lines, marionette lines. Body blemishes, yes, especially if you're shooting newborn, you're going to want to remove body blemishes. If they've got a graze on their knee, if they've fallen over, kids, you know what they're like. Bumps and scratches. I don't think we should have to remove tattoos on children, but you never know if they've drawn on their arm with a pen. My children love to draw on their knuckles and hands. Cheeky. You can, oh look, you can see here, we have a little bit here going on. So if you put tattoos on for the children and bring your bloody blemishes up, that is going to help this area here. Can you see that? He seems to have banana written on his hand there. You can see it's really, really softened that down. Okay, now let's zoom out, back to fit. These individual steps at all on any other images, you can just sync the whole lot. It's perfect. And of course your edit is going to be much faster. Evoto gets faster the more you do. I'm just talking quite slowly and showing you everything. So in the skin retouching, and by the way, one more thing, on any section, blemish remove for example, you can undo everything, or you can manually tune, you can mask, you can hit on the masking. For example, if, say, you know, his freckles here, you wanted to mask that effect away just on the freckles, you can. You can go in and manually tune anything. It's so user-friendly. And that's all I've done is masked away with this little pencil. I've brushed away any of the effects. Now we're on our skin retouching section. We're on female. So let me just come in a little bit. Evening the skin. This is if you have patches, reds, you know, perhaps tan lines, anything like that. We're just working on the face. If I bring that up, it's just working. You can see it's evened everything out. For a family shoot, you're not going to want to go 100% on everything, so just come through. Sculpting is almost like contouring, dodging and burning. Dodging means adding highlights, burning means adding shadows. So you can see it's given us a shadow and highlight look. Really beautiful using the natural light that's there. Your textured smoothing. So what this is going to do, it's going to add smoothness to the skin, softness to the skin, but it's going to retain some of the skin texture. It's up to you how hard you want to go in with this one, or how hard you need to. Frequency separation, if you know what frequency separation is, great, you know exactly what this does. If you're not sure on frequency separation, basically it means it takes the high and the low frequencies. The low frequencies are the colours, the high frequencies are the textures. And what it does is it balances them out. So if I pop frequency separation up at 100%, you're going to see it's kind of balanced all the textures and it's blurred the tones underneath. We don't need very much of that for this image. I'm doing a nice gentle edit for this one. High frequency is your textures. If I was to slide that up a lot, you're going to get all those textures. Low frequency is how much those colours are blended and blurred without affecting the texture. So that's just going to pop into place. So you can play with these. You can also play with the overall intensity of frequency separation. Next up in skin softening, speaks for itself. How soft and glowing do you want the skin to look? Now we're on to the body skin. Move the hand for a moment. So you've got even, which is dodge and burn. Again, this is evening out the entire skin there on the body. This is not going to affect the face. Frequency separation and softening, the same tools. Now we're into our skin texture. You can decide how glossy you want the skin to be. This is going to add natural gloss and highlights. How textured do you want it to be? If you've kind of softened a lot and you think, I need more texture coming in there, you can slide it up. Clarity is going to work on the contrast texture of your image. So you can see there, very, very clear. Now we're on to our skin tone. This is another flagship section for Evoto, your AI Unify. So it's going to take the overall colour of a face and it's going to unify that so it's nice and evenly coloured. Great for tan lines or blotchy areas. And the same for the body. Let's look at this area here. You can unify the body complexion, so it's going to make everything pretty much the same colour. It depends how high you need to slide that. You have AI Unify and you have Unify, which works on different settings. You can slide these both up. With Evoto, the most important thing is just going through the sliders, having a look what it does, a before and after, and at the top of every section, so we're in the skin retouching, you can undo or mask the entire section to turn it on or off. Now we're into skin tone. If you wanted to change the colour of the skin a little bit, you can click through these and it's just going to put an overall kind of filter colour on the skin. You can warm the skin up, you can cool it down. You might have individuals, one is particularly, yellow, one is red. All families are different colours. A rosy complexion is going to make your client look a little bit pinker. Skin radiance is how bright your client's skin is. And then you can, of course, do the same for the guys and for the kids. So now I'm on male, I've clicked our skin retouching has reset. So we can I'm just going to go through quite quickly. I don't want him to be too soft on his skin, but we can even out a little smidgy. But a little bit of unifying always works for guys. Warm him up a smidge and just a bit of radiance. This is how quick you actually work with Evoto. Bam, 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 bam. Now we're on to our facial reset. We don't need to do this, but if you wanted to, if you're shooting for magazine, if you're shooting for portrait, if you look at this is so cool. I'm back on female. And look at this, we can change the head position. We can make her look up just a little more. We can make her look down. I mean, that's mad, isn't it? Absolutely mad. Evoto is really fast. The thing that's going to take you time is that we can sit here so long playing with it. This is the problem with Evoto. It's too much fun to edit in. See this? We can just get everything looking as perfect as we want. When you've done the shoot, you think, oh, I wish this, I wish that, chances are there's a slider for it in Evoto. They're all sliders. You can change everything. For example, I've just clicked on eyebrows. We can change the thickness of them. You can change the distance of them, how far apart they are. You can literally change everything. Next up, your facial expression. If your client wants their gummy smile fixing, you can do this. It's almost like a Botox lip flip going on there. Gentle smile, we can bring up that smile a little bit more. Again, keep this one gentle if you need to. Keep everything looking realistic. You also have smile generation. But we don't need to use that here. She has a beautiful, beautiful smile. Now we're on to the teeth section. Teeth flaws removed. If you have any staining or anything like that on the teeth, you can slide this one up and it's just going to do a lovely AI job on those teeth. We don't want to look like we've gone abroad for the teeth there, so keep that natural. Again, teeth whitening as well. If you want them completely white, go for that. If not, just slide it up a little bit. We want, again, to look natural. Teeth brightness. Teeth desaturation is taking any colour that's remaining out. If you have any yellows left or anything like that, you can just desaturate it down, which means taking the colour out. Teeth alignment is fantastic. You can slide this up and it's going to just stack all those teeth in order. Again, this client really is not going to want that. But if one client has a little tooth kind of sticking out, you can just bring it in a little bit. Again, still photos are very, very different to mobile phone shots, to cell phones and to real life. This is something huge they're going to hang on their wall. You don't want to take away anything that's naturally there. It's just taking the attention from certain areas to bring out the attention you want. Now we have eyes. Let's brighten these eyes up and you'll see the whole eye is going to be brighter. I tend to have the iris bright. The eye whites you're going to want to take down. You don't want your client to look like an alien here. Eye reflection, this is your natural light or your softbox reflection there, the catch light. Again, we don't want that too bright. But the iris flare, I definitely love to turn this one up. It's going to add a little bit of opposite light into your iris, which can really make the eyes sparkle and glisten. If your client has any red veins in their eyes that you want to remove, just close that down. You just bring red vein removal and that's going to just whiten those eyes naturally. If your eyes, if you've shot, with flash and your client's got a red eye, you just click this one, it's going to take it away. You can also manually add in catch lights into the eyes if you need to, just by clicking on them. And of course, the same for everybody else. So you can click male, child, senior, or individual's great. You click individual, and it's just, if you've, for example, edited all the women in a picture and one of them you need to change, you just click on that one individual and you can make individual settings for them. Evoto knows who is in your photo. Absolutely fantastic. Makeup, you can add and enhance the makeup of your client. For example, highlights are where you would have put highlighting powder. Contour is where you'd perhaps pop under the cheeks and nose and shading. You can add some natural makeup in. Eyebrow makeup is going to pop some powder over those eyebrows to enhance them. I would go on what your client is actually done with their makeup, and you can just enhance from there. Eye makeup is just going to darken around the eyes. Lip makeup, slide this, it's going to make the lips lighter or darker. And then you have an entire makeup suite. So you can click on one of the pre-done makeups if you wanted to. So you can just click on one of these. It's going to add these completely different makeup looks. These can be really fun to play with. And the cool thing about these is you can bring the amount down. You can just add a little bit. So you can click on all of these if you wanted to add a built all-in-one makeup section. And again, just move the slider up and down. Or you can individually change different eyeliners, different everything. It can be really good fun. Now we have hair on the retouching section. Hair part line. So you can fill in if you have a thin part line or hairline here. We can slide this up and it's just going to add a little darkness around this area here. Let's wait for that to click in. Top hair volume. Do we need to bump the volume up a little bit? You can do that. And the side hair too. Do we want to make our client's hair a little bit more voluminous? Hairline, you can bring the hairline up or down. Stray hairs, another Evoto flagship. You see we have some little stray hairs flying off around here. If you bring this up, it's going to now, when it's just taking a minute to work, it's just thinking about it, it's going to get rid of all of those stray hairs. Keep an eye on this, zoom in if you're happy with the result. If not, pull it back a little bit. Smooth and soften the hair. We can shine, enhance any shine on the hair. White hair blackening as if you have greys and you want to make them darker. Or you can completely change the hair colour if you wanted to. Now we're nearly done. We're onto the hands section. Right here down the bottom. If you've got these veins on the hands, Evoto literally has thought of everything. You can slide this up, it's going to remove hand veins. Or keep it at 50%. Full body reshape. What this is going to do, right down the bottom here, is AI reshape can make your client wider or thinner. You can change the height of your client. This is going to stretch the whole image up. Your client's head, bigger, smaller. If you need, for example, if somebody's leaning forward and you need them to look like they're leaning back a little bit more, you can use that. Neck width, neck length, breasts area, waist, hips, leg width, anything like that. Leg length is just going to lengthen. If you watch here, it's just lengthening the legs on the bottom there. And there is our skin retouch. Very beautiful, very polished. There's our before and there's our after. Now let's fix the background. And remember, any of these you can turn off and mask any areas. Any areas you can get that manual control. Let's go into our background adjustments. You can see here they're right on the edge of the backdrop. I definitely need to sort that out. And rather than doing this manually, I'm going to hit the distractions removal. If it comes up with auto detect no distractions, just change this to distractions on the drop down. And let's see what Evoto has done. It has removed that area completely. Can you see that? In one little click, we've fixed everything. We've fixed the background, we've fixed everything. If your backdrop is dirty, it has footprints on it, it has creases, you can hit clean backdrop, detect the solid backdrop if you're using a solid backdrop, and now it's cleaned it up. You can change the intensity. Unify the lighting is great if you have a dark shadow, anything like that, so you can hit unify the lighting. Again, I'm going to detect a solid backdrop. You can have it right up. That might look a little bit flat, so I just tend to bring it up maybe around 25%. It really depends on what's going on with your backdrop. If you have banding, you can hit the colour banding removal. Background enhancement is just going to make the background look nicer. You can of course go into Evoto's backdrop changer. You can see my other tutorials. Grab another one about using a backdrop in Evoto. You can grab my other tutorials and masterclass on that one. And sky replacement too. Now the clothes here, if we have any little clothes, wrinkles, linen, anything like that, you can select all, do wrinkle clothing. That's just going to work just for a minute. And it's going to take away any little wrinkles and patches. And you can change, deep wrinkles, fine wrinkles, you can change the amount. De-blemish clothing is going to take any little bits off, and clothing edge smoothing. And there we are. Here's our before and here's our after. And the great thing is, what you can now do is hold down Shift, select any images. I would recommend selecting images in the same batches. Select any images you want the same editing to come across to. And down here in the bottom of your panel, you have sync. Hit sync. You just decide what you want to sync across. I'm going to just choose all of them and hit sync. And if we now we open one of the other images from the session, before and after. It's a real transformation. I'm just going to crop this one in a little bit. And reach that in. Now, I do know I've cropped my client's foot off a little bit. I just grabbed a couple of images from this session. I do have the full images that are already edited for my client. And hit OK. And on our main settings, we do not need the exposure so high for this image. And this is where, you can see I've just changed exposure. It's really thinking about everything. This is where you pop real-time color adjustments on. It's going to hide any of your blemish, your skin, your background. So you can just in real time get your image balanced how you want to. I'm going to take a little of the brightness down. I'm going to take some of the whites down in this image. Just a little bit. Just to get it balanced for this particular setup. And now I can turn real-time color adjustments off, and you can see down here on the left, it's processing all the effects we've put on. It's just taking a moment there, and it's going to do this for all of your images. Everything will already be done for you. So there's our before and after now of that image, that part of the gallery, and our before and after of the darker, more fine art one. So how about, what if we want to do a little bit of individual masking? For example, Dad here is a little bit in the shadow. So how are we going to do that? We're not going to do that on blemish. We're going to do that on our main develop panel. And instead of editing the full image, you're going to edit masking. So I'm going to click on Dad. See, it's selected him now, the entire person. I'm just going to bring the shadows up a little bit. I'm going to turn real-time color adjustments on so I can see what I'm doing here. Just bringing the shadows up, perhaps the blacks a little bit. I just want to bring and lift some of these shadows up. Take the contrast on him down a little bit and let's brighten him up overall. Now what you can also do is I can click where it says person to entire person, or skin, you have facial skin, neck, body. For example, I might want to just change this tone a little bit. Iris, you might decide on this one particular person, you want to bring the exposure up in the iris a little bit maybe. This is just an example, I'm just thinking as I go. But it really does, as well as giving you that automatic AI edit, it also gives you all of this tailored editing that you can come in individual by individual and mask. It's really amazing. His clothes, perhaps he was wearing, they're all wearing white, perhaps he was wearing grey. So for his clothes, what I might want to do is, you know, lift the exposure, the contrast, and change the tone, anything like that. It's just all slider based, it's all detection based, but you can go in and you can mask everything yourself as well. It's just absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to turn real time off now, so it's going to re-add again all of the skin editing we've already set. It doesn't remove it, it just makes it hidden for a moment so you can work on the sliders of the overall image. And you, like I said, you just select all the other images, hit sync, and that's it. That's your gallery edited and it's done. Just like that. You can then select any images from your gallery that you want to then take out of Evoto. At this stage, you can show your client the gallery. You know, this is, you can do this edit. It's taken us a while because I'm talking you through every slider. The next gallery I'm going to show you, I'm going to race through it in record time to show you just how quickly you can make these adjustments, grab your client a coffee, you get the laptop. Obviously, don't face the laptop to your client. Don't show them what you're doing. You know, I'm adding some makeup and shading that double chin, but you can quickly nip off, and you can then show your client their gallery in Evoto. You can go on the library panel, not the edit panel. You can hide the presets down and you can just say, hey client, here are your photos. Let's choose the ones you want. And your client might say, yep, that's the one I want. So at this stage, you can right click, set a color label. For example, yellow means chosen. And then you know which images to take out of Evoto. You know which images to then take into Photoshop and go a bit more editing, a bit more cropping, a bit more anything else you need to do to finish that image. Put your signature style on it. You've got Evoto has taken care of all the skin and all the light and all the color and all the balance. You can then go make it your own. Or just do this at home after the shoot if you don't like showing your clients the fact that you've edited them very, very quickly. So you can just do this at home and get it done in record time, and then, you know, snap that laptop shut and you know the gallery is done and ready. So that is how to edit a studio family portrait photo shoot in Evoto. Gone very slowly with this, gone through every little section that I use that's relevant for family editing quickly and swiftly in Evoto, and a few things you can do to manually adjust those and mask, and what each section does, especially the glasses glare. Isn't it fantastic? And the one-click background fixing, just amazing. So what I want to do now, with our very limited time left, I'm going to dive in, I'm going to edit an entire family studio photo shoot in real time to show you how quickly I would edit this gallery in Evoto in real time and show you how quick it is to get this done. Before we dive into the full manual edit, I just want to take a moment to show you super quickly how our presets work. This isn't going to be a mega plug or ad, I just want to show you how I would personally edit. Now these are our newborn presets, so they are designed for newborn photographers, but they also work great on family edits, and I'm going to show you why. The top section, Lemon Sky Edit, these are our all-in-one basis skin polish background that I've used for all of my images that are designed for newborn skin. And newborn photographers out there, we know that, you know, when it comes to baby's skin, there is a lot that needs doing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just bypass this section because I want a more gentle edit. I'm going to come down into what I've created here, the manual editing. Now this is just on our library page. This is before we even get to the editing. The image bases, these make the overall changes. I'm going to use Perfect SOC, which is straight out of camera. And you can see there, before and after, it's already taken care of the lighting, the balance, and the lens distortion. Next up, the image toners. I'm just going to cool this down a little bit. And this is cool because we have a slider. So we have a slider for this. I'm just going to cool that down to about this stage here. You can see exactly how to use these on our proper video tutorials. Baby skin, of course, this is a newborn gallery. I'm just going to use Skin Fix Gentle because it's not just going to pay attention to see if there's a baby, it's also going to work on women, men, children, and babies too. Skin Retouch, I'm going to use Soft, just a touch. I've created all these presets with different settings, so it's up to you how much or how little you want to use. Skin Polish, just a sprinkle. Background, I'm going to choose my Remove Distractions tool. Background Enhance. We also have, you know, textured, you can soften, all these different ones here. I'm going to choose Iron Clothing as well. Image Finish, a little kick of subtle contrast. And there we go. That is the entire edit. And what you can then do is sync that across the entire gallery. There's our before and our after with a few clicks of our presets, as I've added everything in for every individual in one click. But you're not here to see presets, so I'm just going to reset the entire image, and let's dive into edit, and I'm going to show you exactly how I would edit this really quickly. So first of all, we're in blemish removal. I'm on female, face shine. Once you know these sliders, you're literally just clicking them as you go. The idea for me is not to make, you know, anybody look over edited. It's just to soften the harsh areas that this camera is picking up, so our clients look like they look on the day, on their best day. We don't want anything unrealistic here. So I'm just doing a little skin retouching. Smoothing down the body skin. I'm on female right now. Just going to unify this down. Beautiful. One step I forgot, which is something I would always do first actually, is balance the image. I'm so keen to dive in, so I'm just going to back on our little colour palette here. I'm going to turn on real-time colour adjustments, and let's just adjust this white balance a little bit more. I'm just sampling from the background there and just warming up a smidge to suit my eyes. And I lift some of these shadows up too. Just balancing out because we have a gradient of shadow and light in the image. And I'm also going to come down to lens corrections and turn that on. I shoot with a 35. So we're going to make our clients look more how they actually are with a little lens correction. Now, because there is a lot of highlight coming here, a lot of shadow coming here, I'm going to create a custom mask by clicking on the masking section. I've got my brush huge, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create a mask that is kind of gently covering. Let's take the flow and density down now. Gently covering from the left of this image. And with that, I'm just going to bring our exposure down just a smidgy, and the highlights and the shadows down just to balance. You can see now we've got a better balance of shadows and highlights. That's something you can just do by eye. Okay, now we're balanced. I'm going to come back into skin retouching. I do tend to hop around a little bit, but once you know your sliders, once you know what you need to be doing, you can just do this in your sleep. The presets, of course, having presets are going to make this 10 times easier. As I just showed you, you can do 3 or 4 clicks, synchronize, and it's done. We're just enhancing the makeup that's naturally there. I'm not adding any makeup at all. I'm just enhancing what's already been done. Okay, and the same for kids. Obviously, you get things like this. They draw themselves with pen, they get scratches and scrapes. So I'm on child now. I've only done female editing. I am just going through any clear, little kiddie editing that I would do. Body blemishes, I'm going to whack that right up. And you can see there, we're not got rid of that plaster. That's a little manual job, a 2-second job with a patch and clone. So I'm just evening out the skin, children, and I'm going to pop AI body complexion up a little bit. This is going to brighten and add a unifying effect to their body skin. Beautiful. I'm also going to go on eyes. I'm just going to brighten the kids' eyes a little bit, not the eye whites, not the eye reflection. I'm going to add some iris flare in, and you get that beautiful pop and ping. Female, I've just noticed in the hair section, I'm just going to stray hairs removal here, smooth the hair down and enhance the shine a little bit there. I'm happy with that. And now I'm going to come into background removal, clean the backdrop, unify the lighting, enhance the background there. There we go, unify has now worked. So I'm just going to bring that down. We don't want this background flat. We do want some shadows and everything left on there. So I'm just clearing that up a smidge. You can also make individual background adjustments on your colour adjustments panel on the masking. You can change the background, completely if you wanted to. So I'm going to turn real time off, let everything snap into place, and that is our edit done, finished and completed. So that wraps up our Evoto editing masterclass. I hope this has been helpful and useful for you to see how it all works when it comes to editing family galleries. Don't forget to download the free Evoto Blueprints Quick Start PDF that I've included for you. And our final thoughts really are that fast editing matters, but your quality matters too. And we can have both thanks to Evoto AI supporting us through our editing. Once you know your tools, whichever program you're in, editing can absolutely become something you enjoy again and again every time. And thanks to Evoto, this is possible for all of us now. You can turn around whole galleries so much faster than ever before, literally in minutes, as you've seen today. I really hope this has been helpful for you, whichever stage of the photography journey you're at, whether you shoot on location, in studio, a home setup, at clients' homes, wherever you shoot. I hope this has been really helpful for you. And thank you so much for joining today. Remember, I'm Lauren from LSP Actions. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions at all. Don't forget to take a copy of your Evoto Blueprint ebook before you go. Thank you so much for attending. See you soon. I'm Lauren. Thanks for watching.